Okay, live.
Alright, so I can slap it up. Welcome to Sabbath service. I'm Officer Collins. Joining me is Officer Yahanna. And we'll get it kicked off. Right? Let's go and get it right side. Alright, we're gonna call the first man up.
Mawasar, Bani Howder, Bani Yashar.
Mawasar, Bani Howder, Bani Yashar.
Yahweh Shem Yashar Braktham.
Yahweh Shem Yashar Braktham. Slide on where you look on from your truck.
La Yashar.
All right, we're going to stand for the prayers. Israel Major. SARS, turn. Upon the dawn, face the east.
All right, we'll pray in the Hebrew. Abanawa.
Shabbat
Shemayim. Kodash. I.S.U.P.K. Yahweh. Malakwaka. Tabah. I.S.U.P.K. Hashemayim. Nathanael. Lakam. Kab. Yawam. Wasalakna. Kabawakna. Kasalakna. Kabawakna. Wala'ah. Nabiyana. Manasay Yawam. Abor. Abashana. Mayan. Ra. Kaya. Lakab. Hamalakwa. Wa'ala. Wa'atapara. Lawalanyu.
Amon. This is the Lord's Prayer in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Give us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.
The prayer for the power in Hebrew. Yahweh. Ba'ashem
Yahushua.
Babakashah. Nathanael. Akkad. La'afa'ah. Ka'makala. Ka'manawad. Akkad. Latahar. Amatazari. Akkad. Lahakuya. Amatiyam. Akkad. Arakawad. Atama'ala. Lagarashan. Ba'ashem Yahushua. Dawar.
Right, this is the power in the English. Yahweh. The name Yahushua. Please give us the power. Power to heal all manner of sickness. All manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. Cast them out. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it.
Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah. Ayanya. Ahahari. Bahayan. Yaba'ah. Izari. Ma'ayin. Yahweh. Aisha. Shemayim. Wa'aratazah. Ayatan. Lamawat. Regalka. Ayanawam. Shemarka. Hana. La'ad. Yanawam. Wala'ad. Yanyashan. Shawamah. Yasha'al. Yahweh, Shamaraka, Yahweh, Tazaraka, Ayah, Yamyaka, Yawamam, Hasheman, La'ad, Yakaka, Wayarak, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamaraka, Makarak, Yashamar, Aknapaska, Yahweh, Yashamar, Tazaraka, Wabawaka, Mata, Wa'abalam.
Right? This is Psalms 121 in the English. I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
Which cometh my help.
Which cometh my help.
My help coming from Yahweh.
My help coming from Yahweh.
Which made heaven and earth.
Which made heaven and earth.
You will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
You will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee.
He that keepeth thee.
Will not slumber.
Will not slumber.
Behold.
Behold.
He that keepeth Israel.
He that keepeth Israel.
Shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day.
The sun shall not smite thee by day.
Nor the moon by night.
Nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going
And
out.
thy coming in.
And thy coming in.
From this time forward.
From this time forward.
And even forevermore.
Even forevermore. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim.
Alahayim.
Al-Dam-Yalaka.
Al-Dam-Yalaka.
Al-Takarash.
Al-Takarash.
Al-Tashakwat.
Al-Tashakwat.
Ka-Yahanna.
Ka-Yahanna.
Awayakika.
Awayakika.
Yahanna Yawan.
Yahanna Yawan.
Ra'az.
Ra'az.
I.S.U.P.K.
I.S.U.P.K.
Yahweh
Yahweh.
Sawadah.
Sawadah.
Wayatah.
Wayatah.
Ya'atazawa.
Wa'atazawa.
Al-Tazapawanyaka.
Al-Tazapawanyaka.
Amarwa.
Amarwa.
Lakawa.
Lakawa.
Wanakakida.
Wanakakida.
Magawiya.
Magawiya.
Wala'ad Yazikar.
Wala'ad Yazikar.
Sham Yashal.
Sham Yashal.
Awadah.
Awadah.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Nawa'ad Tazawa.
Nawa'ad Tazawa.
Labat.
Labat.
Yakatwa.
Yakatwa.
Ayaka.
Ayaka.
Bariyah.
Bariyah.
Yakarafwa.
Yakarafwa.
Ahahaya.
Ahahaya.
Adawam.
Adawam.
Wa'yashaman.
Wa'yashaman.
Alayam.
Alayam.
Mawahaba.
Mawahaba.
Wahagari.
Wahagari.
Gabor.
Gabor.
Amawan.
Amawan.
Amalak.
Amalak.
Palashah.
Palashah.
I'm Yeshabia.
Hazawur.
Gam Ashawur.
Ashawur.
Nalawa. Imam. Hayawa. Zarawa. Labanya Lawa. Salah. Ashalahan. Kamadyan. Kasiyah Sara'ah. Kayatyan. Banakor. Wayashwan. Nashamadwa. Bayan Dara. Hayawa. Daman. La'ad. Shayatanwa. Nadal Yamawa. Ka'ara. Wakaza'aba. Wakazabak. Wakatazab. Mana'ai. Kal Nasa Yakamwa. Ashar. Amarwa. Naya Rashad. Lanawa. Na'awa. Alahaya. Shayatamwa. Kagagila. Kakwash. Lapaya Rabaka. Ka'ash. Daiba Ira. Wakalahaba. Talahat. Harayim. Khan. Dawadatma. Basa Iraka. Wabasawa Papka. Dabahalam. Mala'ah. Panyaham. Kwalawan. Wayabakwashwa. Shamka. Yahweh. Yabashwa. Wayabahawa. Ayai. Wayakaparwa. Wayabatwa. Wayadaiwa. Kaya'ata. Shamka. Yahweh. Labatka. Al-Yawan. Al-Kaharaza.
So Psalm 83 in the English. Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still.
And be not still.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
Below.
Below.
Thy enemies make a tumult.
Thy enemies make a tumult.
And they that hated thee, have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation. That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. So they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, and of Ishmaelites, and Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Selah, do unto them as unto the Midianites. As to Sarah, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They have become as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like a red, and like Zeeb. Yea, all the princes of Ba, and Zamullah, who have said, let us take to ourselves the house of Yahweh in possession. Oh my power, make them like a wheel, as they stumble before the wind. As the fire burned the wood, and as the flame set the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, and they seek thy name. O Yahweh, let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, are the most high of all the earth. Most high Christ. Sarge, your turn. Shabby, should be seated.
Are you good if you need water or anything? So, water. Okay. There's no water. Water right there. Water right there. Down the cold back there.
All right, Most High Christ, clap it up. Again, welcome to the Sabbath service. The address here is 3353 Glenwood Road. We started off in Numbers 31 and 43. We're going to begin in the Hebrew, and then after the Hebrew, we read in English. So if you have your blue letter Bibles, to follow along, and you can read in the Hebrew with us. All right. Go on. Numbers 31 and 43. All right.
Numbers 31 and 43. Wasahaya Shalasha, Ma'arath, Alap, Washala Shayam, Alap, Shaba'ai, Alapayam, Alapium, Wakamash, Ma'arath,
Yeah, 44. Rose. You take over here, or you want to take over? Some more verse. If you comfortable, you want to keep reading, please let me know. Verse 44.
Wapakwa, Shashat, Washala, Shayam, Washala, Shyam, Allah.
Verse 45, that's it? All right. Clap that, give him a hand. All right, we're going to start at verse 45. Amarai, Yam, Shalashiyam, Alawat, Wakamash, Ma'ath, Wakmarawath, verse 46, Wanapash, Akkad, Shaisha, Ashar, Alawat, verse 47, Wapakwa, Wa, Yakwa, Masha, Mama Taza'ath, Wan Yashal, Ath, Akawak, Akuzak, Akkad, Mak, Hakasha, Hakamash Shayam, Mak, Akadim, Mamak, Habaha, Maha, Wayathak, Akkad, Salaki, Atadim, Lalawayam, Salaki, Shemawa, Mashama, Ra'ath, Mashaban, Yahweh, Bashar, Tazawa, Yahweh, Af, Masha, verse 48, Wapakwar, Bawa, Al, Masha, Hapakwadium, Ashar, Lapayum, Lapaha, Hatazaba, Shayam, Ha'alpayam, Shirayim, Hamath, Wa'ath, verse 49, last verse. Wa'ath, Mawa, Al, Mashal, Abadika, Nasha, Atwa, Ak, Rasha, Rash, Ashayam, Amalak, Maha, Amalakma, Ashar, Bayad, Nawa, Wala, Wapakwad, Mamanawa, Ayash. All right, we'll go back first to verse 43 and read in English.
Numbers 31 and 43. Now the half that pertained unto the congregation was 300 30,000 and 30,000 and 7,500 sheep. Verse 44, and 30 and 6,000 beeves.
Who understands what's going on here? What's happened from the last time? Was it we had a war that happened? And these are all the things that was pertained in that war. And he's saying, how many sheep? It's a lot of daggone sheep. It was 300,000 and 30,000, 7,500 sheep. Damn, that's a lot of sheep. But I tell you what, that's a heck of a feast. You know what I mean? That's a lot of sheep. All right, keep going. Verse 44.
Okay. Verse 44, and 30 and 6,000 beeves. 45, and 30,000 asses and 500, and 16,000 persons. Verse 47, even of the children of Israel's half, Moses took one portion of 50, both of men and of beasts, and gave them unto the Levites.
Why did he give them to the Levites? He gave them how many? What did Moses divide it up? He divided up what? 50? Say it again. Did one portion 50, both of man and of beast. And gave them to the Levites.
And gave them unto the Levites.
So why did he do that? Why did he take half of the men, half of the animals and stuff that he had acquired and gave them to the Levites? Anybody can answer. Don't be afraid. Go ahead, sister.
Is it because the Levites were in charge of the tabernacle? Is that why?
They was in charge of the tabernacles. They was performing all the ceremonies. Plus, and they also, anybody else give me other reason why? Well, she's right. Any other reasons? Go ahead.
It's lucky I don't. Was because they. I know this.
I know you know.
I know this.
I know you know. Like I said,
They get paid for their services.
Like the sister was saying, they were in charge of the services, so they don't have an inheritance. They don't work, so this is their work. Just like the priest in the I.S.U.P.K. We have jobs, but this is the work that we perform for our services. This is what we do. We go out, we teach our people, we teach the Sabbath services. So Levites was in charge back in the day, so they was heavily leaned upon taking charge of all the ceremonial duties. So they was the one we had to pay them. They had to make sure to eat. You had to make sure. Now your Christian pastors today, they take all kind of tithes. They take all your money, but they ain't putting it back out to the people. They just take it for themselves. Go buy them a nice car, 3-piece suit, whatever have you. Some women, all kind of stuff they do. They don't give back to the people. They don't give back to the people. Here in I.S.U.P.K, our people, we give our tithes. We give the commanders of Yahanna. And in turn, you look around and see all the schools that he built up. The Passover's coming over. I think he locked down with 4 to 6 buildings right now of hotels.
Right.
I mean, that's just a lot. That's giving back. And they all filled up. That's giving back to his people. Not to mention he's trying to do a soup kitchen in New York. It's a lot of things he's trying to do. We're acquiring land because we understand the times are coming. So he, who is the number one leader of our nation, of I.S.U.P.K, in Israel, period, he's the one that's going to make sure all this stuff is done. So this is why we pay our tithes. We pay our tithes and our offerings, and we give it to the priests, so to make sure they can do the Lord's work. And that's what's happening back in this time. I don't know why you want to say anything about it?
Yeah, kind of. Can y'all get Nehemiah 13 and 10?
Got Nehemiah 13 and 10?
Yeah.
You got it? Your phone freezing up. You might want to get a new phone.
Right.
That's iPhone is pretty good.
You know what I'm saying? You stick with an Android, that's iPhone, ain't it?
Android.
Hey, stop. Keep reading. Find Nehemiah. Find Nehemiah. My Android works just fine.
Mine working just fine over here.
Just fine.
I got 2 or 3 Bibles over. Nothing freezing. Yeah, just read it from the
And he can find his own right to the Android. Right. So like,
Nehemiah
13 and 10.
Nehemiah 13 and 10. And I perceived that the portions of the Levites had not been given them. For the Levites and the singers that did the work were fled every one to his field.
Y'all understand that, what that means? You might want to break that down for me? break that down?
Oh, Shalom. What the verse again?
No.
Read it again for me.
Con. Nehemiah 13 and 10. And I perceived that the portions of the Levites had not been given them, for the Levites and the singers that did the work were fled every one to his field.
You mind break it down for me? All right.
So,
You got it?
no, I say like, do like for the, like services. I don't put like a sharecrop or something like that, because it said,
Okay.
when you got to the fields.
Okay. It says, right, that's Nehemiah speaking, right? He said, I perceived the portions of the Levites had not been given them. What is their portion? That's the tithes, right?
Con.
That's the money that's supposed to be given when you go and you take over a country, right? That's the money you're supposed to get. Like that we was reading here, where they said how much she was giving them, like
30,000.
yeah, that's their portion. But he said, I see that it hasn't been given to them, the Levites and the singers, right? The people that perform the services. So, that did the work. Everyone had to go to a field and they were working.
Right.
That's why we have to work, like us as priests now, because we're not getting the tithes that we need. Like Israel will be paying us to do this service.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what happened. Even at this, just an example of what happened even with the Levites during this time. They were working because they weren't getting their portion.
Yeah. It's like we're supposed to get paid for this work that we're doing. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of our brothers have to work because of Israel don't pay their portions. Like I don't want to bring it out. And so we don't mind. So we do our work. This is our first love. So this is our first work. This is our first job right here. We're making sure this gets done. And our job comes second. And once in Christ. Keep reading. Who you at?
47.
Okay.
Even of the children of Israel's half, Moses took one portion of 50, both of men and of beasts, and gave them unto the Levites, which kept the charge of the tabernacle of the Lord, as the Lord commanded Moses. And the officers, which were over thousands of the host, the captains of thousands and captains of hundreds, came near unto Moses.
Let's just break this down. I ain't gonna break it down. I'm just gonna let you know. We do everything in scripture. We do everything in scripture. And so a lot of people out there, fake Israelite groups, and just people who are not in, tell us that, hey, why they gotta be captains and this and that, and the officers, 500s and thousands, because it says so in the scripture. This is where we get it from. We did everything in rank and order. When he said the host is an army. So you can tell Israel was a nation back then. So when people say that tithes and offering is not, it was fruits and vegetables and wheat and corn. Come on, man. if that was so, where's the vegetables? Where's the fruit? Where's the corn that you're giving us?
Yeah.
You don't give it to us either. That's just another excuse. They don't want to pay nothing. They want to give up anything that the Lord tells you to give, because we want to keep that money in their pocket, keep their corn, wheat, and vegetables in their pocket versus giving it out. So how could you run a nation without any money? You have to feed the people. You have to have someone who's designated to do the work of the Lord, so other people can go out there, work, bring that money into it, so we can have a nation. That's how a nation is built. That's how the United States is built. You have people who are poor on the bottom, which is blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians running this place, and they benefit from it, so they should get rights. So that's how you run a nation, just like that. So don't be silly out. I mean, brothers and sisters, money is tithe. Bring your money. You understand? So go ahead, keep reading.
Verse 49, and they said unto Moses, thy servants have taken the sum of the men of war, which are under our charge, and there lacketh not one man of us.
Okay, that's verse 50. We're going to call another brother up. Amash.
Pashkaya, Ban Yahanna, Ban Yashal.
The Pashkaya, Ban Yahanna, Ban Yashal.
Yah Bashem Yashabakathon.
Yah Bashem Yashabakathon.
Get the brother here.
All right, give it up. All right, now read the next 7 verses in the Hebrew.
Okay, Numbers 31. third one, in the book of Numbers, chapter 31, verse 50 in Hebrew. Why not qua raw? Off. Qua rob young bun. Yahweh Ayash Ashar my Taza'a Cow Ya Zahab Taza'ai Da Wa Taza Mayat Sabai I Gal Ya Al Y Ka Zama. Okay. La Kapar Al Na Pashta Ya Na Wa La Panya Yahweh, verse 51. Wayai Kwak Masha Wa'ai La'ai Zar Hakahan Af Hazah Nabah Ma'ai Thon Kalya My Aisha, verse 52. Wayai Haya Kal Zaha Hada Ramai Aswakim Dai Aswakim Hai Da Rai Wama Ashar Hai Rai Yai Mawa Lo Yahweh Shasha. Okay. Ashar Allah Shabai Hai Roth Rakai Kamashim Shaqual My Ice Sharathia Hi I Lapanyam Wama Af Sharia Hi My Eyes Roth, verse 53. Aina Shaya Ha Tazabath Ba Za Zawa Ayash Lo Wa, verse 54. Wa Yakwak Masha Wa La I Zahar it's okay. Wa I Lazar Hakahan Af Ha Zahab Ma'as Sharia Ha'ai La Paryam Waka Ma'ai Roth Waya Bahwa I Kawa Al Ha Ahau My Wa'id Zakar 1. Okay. Zakar 1. Okay. La Banya Yash Yasha'Allah La Panya Yahweh Pa, verse 32, verse 1. So it's 50 through 50, slow, 54, I got 3 more verses, okay. Verse 1. Ma Quad Na Ra Ha Ya La Banya Wa I Zaban Wa La Banya Gad I Tazawam Ma'ida Wa Ya Rothwa of Irataza Ya Azahar, that's lucky, Ya Azar Wa of Irataza Ga'id Wa I Na Ha Maquayum Maqwana, verse 2. Wa Ya Baswa Banya Gad Ya Banya Ra'ai Rabban Ra'ayuban Wa Ya Amarwa Al Mashah Wa Al La'azar Hakahan Wa Al Nasha Wa Afya Hi La Amar, last verse 3. Sarah Roth Wa Dai Yaban Wa Wa Ya Azar Wa Nai Ma Ra. Oh, sorry. I know his name pretty good. Okay. You gave me the belt, so.
Yeah.
You gave me the belt. And it's more belt, so. Okay, it's Ra Na Mara. Yeah, Mara. Wa Kash Bawan. Wa I La Wa I La Al Wa Ala Wa Shabbat. Okay. Wa Shaban Wa Nabagwa Wa Ba'an.
Thanks. Clap it up for him. The word got a little difficult in the end, man. There's some bad words in the end, boy, but brother pulled it off. All right. Going back up to, start at 50.
31, 3.
Start at 50.
The book of Numbers, chapter 31, verse 50 in English. We have therefore brought an obligation for the Lord, whatever a man have gotten for jewels of gold, chains and bracelets, rings, earrings, and tablets, to make an atonement for our souls before the Lord.
Because it's an obligation. You know what I'm saying? It's an obligation. We have an obligation to do a day of atonement. It's like it's oblation. Okay, it's like oblation. But this is the atonement that we was making. So he took all those things, just like we atone for the Lord. We have day of atonement, atone for our souls. Same thing. All the bracelets and tablets, the earrings they'd taken, they gave the offering to the Lord as an atonement for their souls. You going?
No, 1 second, Shalom. Okay, real quick.
Come on, sir.
But yeah, like, that's, people think that's like how you serve the Most High. You got to serve His workers, right? So the Christian church, they're trying to do that, but the issue of it is they're not serving God's workers.
Hell no.
They serving the Satan's workers. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not solving anything in the Christian church. The pastor, what does he solve? They still hell, they serve you pork in the damn sanctuary, man.
So like, as soon as you get done.
Exactly. They're, singing, giving all glory to Jesus and Mary and whoever. What they do? They serve you pork. Give you a ham sandwich right there.
And catfish sandwiches.
Catfish and all that.
Catfish sandwiches.
I was having camp and they were serving catfish right there next to us while we was having camp. Right? A brother almost, like, he went there, he ended up having to call the ambulance. Like, that catfish about killed him. And that's the Most High saying, like, you're not supposed to be doing this. Like, we blazing on them, saying you literally is serving this on a high holy day.
Right.
Serving it an abomination. And we showed it and all that, and the man went over there, he was like homeless, he went and ate it, and all of a sudden the ambulance got called out. I'm serious.
Them bones that fell out of his throat.
Wow.
No, that catfish, he ain't supposed to be eating it. So, but then they said, they calling us devils, right?
So like, they were calling you all devils?
Come. They was calling us devils by telling them that they sinning by giving, they supposed to be a church, supposed to be the Most High's ministers, right? Which means servants or workers, right? They supposed to be doing that, but they serving God's people catfish.
Okay. So like, what they say when they call the ambulance on the guy?
I mean, I have to probably talk more about that when we finish class. It's a long story about the whole situation going down in Tennessee. There's a lot.
They still kept eating the catfish though. They kept eating the catfish.
Oh yeah.
They kept serving catfish.
Oh yeah. They kept serving it. Like, we was blazing them all day, toward the end of camp. They ended up, right when we was ready to pack up, he ended up calling to call the ambulance to get this man checked out.
Word.
That's it.
That's what happens when you don't listen to the men of the Lord.
Yeah, right. And that's all just to say that what we saying is not false. Because you see stuff like this happens all the time while we at camp. So go ahead.
It's lucky, yeah. Like we talking about last night during the Lashon Kadosh class. Hadar brought a scripture. Talk, we got to strive to be perfect. And we already here at the Christian church, like, I ain't perfect, we all make mistakes. Just like you just made a mistake out there with the story saying, you eating catfish. You eating of swine flesh of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? We always have a motto, no excuses.
That's right.
You got no excuses, you know what I'm saying? If you study the law, statutes, commandments, you had no excuses to learn what to do and not to do. But we all here at the Christian church, we all hear excuses. Our sign say no excuses. In the Christian church, they got excuses.
That's right.
And what do Christians tell you all the time? They say that nobody can follow the law, right? Nobody can follow it. But what does it say in Hebrews? Was it chapter 10, I believe? Hebrews. He said what does it say? It justify him, or basically I'm paraphrasing, justify Christ to be born in flesh like his brothers, like his own people. He was born like that because if he came down like they said he does, that's why they have to make him into a god. Make him into like God, basically, right? Because if he came down on earth as God, right, then no wonder he didn't see him. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
He's God. God can't see him.
Right.
Sin doesn't affect God, right? That's what say sin and God can't coexist.
That's right.
The scriptures say, right? So when he so that's why they gotta make him into a God, because now they can see him.
Right.
That's the whole thought process of why, like, Christianity, like, it's even put out that if he's not a God, if he's not God and he's the actual man, then in that case the whole Christian doctrine falls. And that's why we got to teach people that he was a man. That's why he came through as a man, So that if he's coming as flesh like we are, then we have no excuse not to follow the law. But if he's God, you got that excuse.
That's right.
So
If I could add on to them, that's just the Christians. They're not reading this Bible because it says in the scriptures, be ye therefore perfect, like your Father in heaven is perfect. You know what I'm saying? So why would he tell you to be perfect if you couldn't do it? So Christ had to be just like us. Because if he was so perfect and he was a God, then how am I going to be perfect? How could I do anything? How can I follow this man? I can have an excuse saying, well, shit, he's God. Of course he's going to do something perfect. So Christ took it all out. Christ was a man just like you and I. He didn't sin. And that's why we can be like him. Because he understands your struggles. Whatever struggles you're going through, whether it be, whether it be hunger, whatever the case that you're going through, problems in your life, Christ's been through them all. That's why he understands it. That's how he can understand it and tell you, go through it, sister, go through it, because I've been through it. I know what you're feeling. I've been through it. I've been hungry. I've been challenged in my mind. I've been tempted by the devil. And you can beat it. But if he was God in the flesh, and that he couldn't do no sin, then how could we strive to be like that? It's impossible. I just give up. I walk away. You know what? Forget. I can't do it. I can compete against a God. You know what I mean? So heavy point you bring up.
If I could, just real quickly, the sad part about it is, where do all Christians read from in the Bible?
I know that.
New Testament.
Where do we just quote scriptures from?
New Testament.
Exactly.
So
And I told you, they don't read that damn thing.
They don't read.
They don't read the damn thing. We ain't even talk about the Old Testament.
Christians want to do what they want to do. That's just point blank.
They'll be perfect for the white man.
Oh yeah.
For that job they got.
And that's a point you bring up because they say, oh, I can't do all the laws. But don't you have a job? I bet you follow them laws.
Right.
You got a driver's license? I bet you follow them laws. So that's just, Christians do what the hell they want to do. That's all. But in here, you got to follow this law. You can't do what we want to do. We follow laws.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So yeah. Good point. Where we at, bro?
Okay. The book of Numbers, chapter 31, verse 51 in English. And Moses and Eleazar, the priest, took the gold of them, even all royal jewels. Verse 52. And all the gold of the offering that they offered up to the Lord, of the captains of thousands and of the captains of hundreds, was 16,750 shekels.
Ooh, shekels. See, there we go. Shekels. What is shekels? Money. It's money. It's money. So there we go again. Shekels. So when people say that they don't have tithe, they just broke it down. You're breaking up money. That's shekels. Matter of fact, 16,500 days time in shekels would be 16,750 just in the United States money. It's about $5,231. And that's just now. It probably worth a little bit more back then because, inflation and stuff like that come up here. So it probably worth a little bit more back then. But just to put it in perspective.
That's a lot. You said 1 shekel is worth how much?
Well, 16,750 is a total of $5,000.
Okay.
So you break that down, divide 52 into the 16, you'll get it all. I ain't no math major, but I'm just giving you in the whole nutshell the way the money is breaking down. But just to dispel the whole myth that tithe isn't money, it's ridiculous. It's unheard of. I mean, we're a nation of people. We have to feed our people, and we have to do business with other countries around us. And they're not taking no damn cabbage for they don't want no cabbage. They want money. Shekels is money, so it's in the Bible.
That's right. We'll take that cabbage.
Oh, we'll take cabbage.
We'll take it. But that point of them saying about tithes has nothing to do with that. I'm sure y'all know that.
Exactly.
They don't want to give anything.
They won't give nothing.
So has nothing to do with, okay, well, if you don't want it, if you got cabbage, bring the cabbage in. Not once if they come in and brought cabbage in. Or fruits and vegetables or anything.
Our storehouse should be full of peanuts and cabbage.
All of that. We ain't got one piece of cabbage.
Not from them. Not from them.
Well,
The stuff that we have, the brothers that we do, we coming in here, but people outside, they don't even want to bring that or money. So what's the excuse? They don't want to bring any of it. So, it's what it is. All right? Keep reading.
Verse 53. For the men of war had taken spoil, every man for himself. Verse 54. And Moses and Eleazar, the priest, took the gold of the captains of the thousands and of hundreds, and brought it into the tabernacle of the congregation for a memorial of the children of Israel before the Lord. Book of Numbers, chapter 32, verse 1. Now the children of Reuben and the children of Gad had a very great multitude of cattle. And when they saw the land of Yazar and the land of Galilee, that behold, the place was a place for cattle.
So who's the children of Reuben and Gad? Who are they today? Who are they today?
The Native Indians.
That's right, Native Indians, Seminole Indians, and all Native Indians that we call today. Down in Florida, up in New York, them places, even some around, I think some in South Carolina, Georgia, we got a land where the Indians are in Georgia, heard about?
The Gullah Geechee.
The Gullah Geechee. Man, that's crazy, because my grandmother's from the Georgia area, and she made her way to New Jersey, but she's from this area, and my great-grandmother was an Indian, and so
it's like
she's from here.
It's like a mixture of, it's like some Judah and some Reuben.
I tell you what,
it's like a mixture of, so you can't say which one is necessary, but because they came
like
together at one
Yeah.
point. Because just briefly, people thought people was fleeing up to go to up north, the Underground Railroad. No, a lot of people were going south because they wasn't owned. That was owned by another country. Florida was owned by another country at a long time during slavery. So they were going in there and setting settlements up during there with the Reubenites. That was Judah doing that. So it was a mixture of Judah and Reuben.
I tell you, them Gadites and Reubenites, they love them Judites. That's why they love the Judites. So, yeah, that's what's going on. Okay, then. Yeah, you're right, sis. Go ahead.
Verse 2. The children of Gad and the children of Reuben came and spake unto Moses and to Eleazar the priest and unto the prince of the congregation, saying, verse 3, Eleazar and Daban and Yazar and Damrah and Nashban and Eleazar and Shabam and Nebo and Beon.
One more verse. Go ahead. Keep reading.
Okay, verse 4. Even the country which the Lord smote before the congregation of Israel is a land for cattle, and their servants have cattle.
Okay, well, we're going to find out next couple verses what's going on here, but essentially, Reuben and Gad have all this cattle, and the Lord destroyed this land. The Lord destroyed all the land that they just came out of. So we're just going over to the Jordan. So they have all this land that's been destroyed. So Reuben and Gad have all this cattle, and he's asking Moses, hey, there's a land with all this cattle, we have all this cattle, and there's all this land over here that the Lord destroyed for our purposes. And you're going to find out, when we keep reading on, I think next week, because we got time on that time, find out why they want that land. So you got to come back to Sabbath service next week to figure out what's going on. I'm going to give you a cliffhanger.
Yes, cliffhanger. Series on there. All right.
So make sure you come back. So clap it up for the brother Reed. You know what I'm saying? And with that, we're going to go ahead and say the prayers real quick. Mazu. What's up, sis? Sorry, crack.
Lord, our shalom.
All right, Mazu. Hala Gadam, just face the east.
All right, the Lord's Prayer in the English. I'm sorry, so like in the Hebrew. Abanawa. Bashamayim.
Bashamayim.
Kodash.
Ayah.
Shemka. Yahawah. Lakwaka. Abahad. Tizaka. Ayah. Aisha. Bahawatiza. Kawah. Ayah. Bashamayim. Natananaw. Lakar. Kab. Yawam. Wasalakna. Kawafna. Kasalakna. Kawaf. Wala'a. Tabayana. Manasa Yawan. Abba. Habashana. Mayan. Ra. Kaya. Laka. Amalaku. Wa'al. Watapara. Abalanyu. Aman.
This is the Lord's Prayer in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. On earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Give us our debts. We give our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but lead us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. SARS, turn. Shall we be seated? We'll go ahead and say the announcements. All right. Say the announcements.
This is the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We're at the I.S.U.P.K starting at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Room for a new brother and sister. When a new brother and sister come to the school, they are limited for 6 months. They are here to be saluted only. They are here to set themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 to 10. My I.S.U.P.K, that means 10 in the Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord give you. Give to the treasury department of teacher. Priest fund. We will offer a priest, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you like to give. The next whole convocation is going to be the Lord 53 annual pass, so give it up.
Right.
Yeah, you know, on the Command General Yahanna, he had rented out 5 hotels. It's all booked up. And you looking for the extra material we got going on, you look over I.S.U.P.K.org, or you can look up any other class videos or shows and stuff like that to find out the whole itinerary for the week. Remind Akim or Wakim to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing a black boot, shirt, pant, headband, or scarf. And one more thing you should do before you come to the school. Just make sure you Google this address, use any GPS that you normally use, and the address is 3353 Glenwood Road, Decatur, Georgia. It'll help out the actors to help brothers and sisters to find out about the school. After that, Minister Almighty, give one curse salute to the teachers, men Israel, Almighty Sabbath, Almighty, Rock. Yahweh Shem Yahshua. What I just said to you in Hebrew, may the Most High, in the name of Christ, bless you. Ya'im the top, bring your hands down. Sister stand, Amida. Sorry. Turn to the sister. Give one curse salute to the sisters. Mid Israel, Amida Sabbath, Amida, Rock. Yahweh Shemar Adam Hashem Yahushua.
Yahweh Shemar Adam Hashem Yahushua.
What I just said, Salaki. May the Most High watch over you in the name of Christ. Y'all in the top, me hands down, class dismissed.